slow and steady wins some races, but not all. And if I lived by that mantra, I wouldn't be here doing this. I mean, most lawyers are risk adverse, right? It's like we're drawn to like the formulations around the way that you word a contract, how like when you write a good contract, you feel like you've prepared for every kind of scenario and it feels like safe. And in entrepreneurship, it doesn't work like that. You've got to just go.
Welcome to Taking Care of Lady Business, where we have conversations about power, value, and success on your own terms. I'm talking with women who are building influence, wealth, and authority, not by following someone else's playbook, but by deciding what success looks like for themselves. These are candid conversations, hard-earned perspectives, and no BS insight from women who aren't asking permission. They're setting the standard. I'm your host, Jennifer Justice. Most people call me JJ. Let's get into it. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Taking Care of Lady Business. I'm Jennifer Justice. Today, we have Liz Zwillinger. It's fun to say. She is the founder of Biologica. We're going to get into what all that is in a second. Hi, Liz. How are you?
Hi, Jennifer. It's nice to be here.
Nice to have you here. She's in San Francisco and there's a heat wave. So she has bare shoulders. I'm in New York.
I barely got dressed today.
Freezing here. And so I'm in a cashmere sweater, of course. Anyway, it's nice to have you. Let's like start off by saying, what is Biologica so we can get into it?
Sure. So Biologica is a daily drinkable multivitamin formulated for women. And it comes in a little powder that you mix into a glass of water, stir it up, and it's this effervescent, delicious drink. And you get all of your vitamins and minerals that you need, plus electrolytes, probiotics, and some incredible clinically backed botanicals that are formulated for your hormonal life stage. So we have 3 formulas exclusively for women based on your hormonal age. And we tried to simplify a routine so that you can just take one thing and be done and move on with your life.
Thank you for that. And also for creating something, that tastes good and doesn't make you sick to your stomach, and, that you can drink kind of anytime during the day. Is that right? Or Is there a certain time you recommend it? Yeah.
No, absolutely. Basically, you take it when you can remember. So I take mine after lunch as like a little bit of an afternoon pick-me-up because some of the electrolytes and B complex vitamins give me some renewed energy. But other people like taking it in the morning, right after their coffee. Some people take it at night. It really doesn't matter. Whatever is best for your particular life.
Why has it taken so long for somebody to do this?
I genuinely don't know. I mean, that was how the questions I was asking when I was standing in my pantry, mixing 7 different pills, 4 different powders, making a mess and saying, how come nobody has done this for women? There are other companies, the green juices and the gummy bears that have tried to fill nutritional gaps, but they have done it for men, women, children. And the truth is that women have unique nutritional gaps and unique needs. I mean, our biology is so different than a man's. And so a one size fits all multivitamin it doesn't work for us in the ways that it should. So I don't know why it took somebody so long, but I'm thrilled to have done it.
Yeah. And for, people listening, it's like an electrolyte. There's electrolytes in it too, right?
Yes. But electrolytes that are formulated for women specifically. So for example, we have sodium and we have potassium, but the sodium levels are at a level that women can tolerate. Some of these other electrolyte powders have 1,000 milligrams of sodium in them, which is definitely not good for our heart, our blood pressure. So that like super salty electrolytes that you're buying at the supermarket are likely not good for your long-term heart health. So we've all of the formulation and all of the quantity, the ingredients, the dosages are all formulated for women's bodies.
Amazing. So tell us about those different life cycles, which ones do you have for purchase and how did you come about formulating them? What are the differences?
Sure. So just to step back for a second, when we had this idea of like this aha moment, I'm standing in my pantry mixing all these things saying, how come I can't do one simple thing? We decided to go out to talk to other women to make sure this wasn't just a unique need state of mine. Of course, in my friend group texts, everyone was complaining about the same issues, but we went out and did focus groups across the country with different ages of women. And then we also did a 1,000-woman study. And the results from those focus groups and the study were really interesting because what we found was that the needs of women were very similar within their age groups, but very different across their age groups. So, for example, women in their 30s were complaining a lot about low energy, but they didn't have the same hormonal symptoms that women in their like mid to late 40s were experiencing, as estrogen and progesterone were fluctuating in perimenopause. And then they had different symptoms than women who were postmenopausal. So we kind of stepped back and thought, okay, women's bodies change so dramatically because of their hormones. And, you know, we go through these 5 life stages, hormonal life stages as humans, as women: infancy, puberty, reproductive, when you're having a regular menstrual cycle, perimenopausal, when your estrogen and progesterone are all over the place, and then postmenopausal, which is, you know, after you have your last period. And those are the 5 hormonal life stages. And then your needs, both like the symptoms, the acute symptoms you feel because of how your hormones are moving, plus sort of what your general biology needs, are really unique to that hormonal life stage. So that's why we created a complex formula and a very simple delivery system so that it's targeted for each of those 3 adult hormonal life stages. So we have the primary product, which is for reproductive age, midlife product, which is for perimenopausal, and then the postmenopausal product.
I just want to hit on this one thing, the postmenopausal. That's the life stage for the rest of your life.
Exactly. And you're in it for a third of your life.
Yeah. So people think it's like, well, you know, I'm over menopause. I'm like, no, you're just like never over it, which is great, right? Who loves their period? Let's be real. Okay.
Totally. But the truth is that when you are postmenopausal, you have lost all of the amazing protective qualities of estrogen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so our bodies at that age are more like men because we don't have the amazing estrogen that can protect brain health and heart health and bone health. So you need other vitamins and minerals and nutrients to help fill those gaps that estrogen, you know, was providing for you in your younger years.
So you did this big study, and how did you start breaking it down, right? Are you a doctor?
I'm a lawyer.
I love it, just like me. So
yeah, I was in my former life, I was a divorce lawyer.
Oh, really?
So I spent a lot of time with women, particularly in midlife, helping them navigate extremely challenging life scenarios. And that kind of helped inform the motivation for starting Biologica. But to get to your question, we went out when I was sitting in my pantry, you know, freaking out about all of these different pills and powders. I said, I want to hire smart people who know how to do this to tell me exactly what I need to take when and put it in one single format. And so that's what we did. We went out to OBGYNs, we went out to naturopathic doctors, we went out to scientists. We have a co-manufacturing lab in Utah, and we said, tell us what women need in these life stages and let's make it together. And we spent almost 2 years in R&D before we launched our company.
And so what's the difference between taking in a powder and a pill form?
First of all, it's more bioavailable. So your body's actually absorbing it. And in our effervescent system that I was saying before with the sodium bicarbonate and the potassium creates that fizziness that's in our beverage, which is delicious and refreshing, but it actually also makes it more bioavailable to absorb all of the vitamins and minerals that we have.
What is bioavailable for?
Oh, your body absorbs the nutrients more. Otherwise, you just sort of like flush it out and you have expensive urine. So you actually are absorbing what you're taking when you do it in an effervescent drink system. Secondly, we're able to put a lot more active ingredients in that powder. So we have 5 to 6 grams of active ingredients in each sachet. So that is the equivalent of like 7 to 10 pills. For example, there's an ingredient we have in all of our formulations called choline, which is incredible for brain health. And also it helps extract the fat from your liver so that you can burn it. And choline is very dense in pills. So a lot of multivitamins, 99% of multivitamins on the market don't include choline because it takes up too much space in a pill format. But we were able to include it in our format because we have the space in those little sachets to include it. So it allowed us to include more things in it.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Where would you get choline naturally?
It is in egg yolk, beef liver, a lot of beef products or animal products. So egg yolks are a great source of choline. It's just, you know, hard to do every day. And the research is actually out now on choline for prenatal because there's a lot of interesting research on how choline impacts the brain development of the fetus when you're pregnant. But it's the same principles that apply to women when they're not pregnant. It actually helps our brains as well. So that's why we put choline in all 3 formulations, and we're able to do that in a sachet. And then lastly, to your point about why powders and not pills, it just, as you said before, it tastes better.
Yeah.
And choking down 7 to 10 pills that like have a funny aftertaste or, upset your stomach or make you gag is just not something you're going to want to stick with. And we know with supplements, it doesn't work if you don't take them. We started Biologica by saying, how can we create a format that you'll actually want to take? Because it doesn't work if it sits in the back of your pantry and then you throw it out at the end of the year.
Which is amazing. As we were talking about before, like there are certain pills that I just keep the lids off because you keep them on. They like smell so bad and then I gag, and I don't take them because I gag.
And try traveling, right? Do you travel and you put them in these little baggies? And
Yeah. Yeah.
It's awful.
And then, I'm never going to take them. You know what I mean? So you're doing all this research. You figure out that you can put them in a pill form. And I said, why hasn't nobody ever done this? But is there a downside to it? Is that why somebody hasn't, or they manufacture too many pill bottles and they need to fill them?
Yes, it is much easier to do this in a pill format. We spent a lot of time with scientists in the lab, truly seeing how the vitamins and minerals interacted with each other in this system, interacted with the sodium bicarbonate, we have a flavor house. It's a European flavor house. And so we added natural flavors. So we have no synthetic flavors. And our flavors come from farms, European farms. And so how do those vitamins and minerals interact with the flavor? So for example, iron tastes pretty gross naturally. So to mask the flavor of iron in a drinkable format takes a lot of work and a lot of science. It is much easier to throw iron in a pill that you swallow with a glass of water. And so throughout that 2-year R&D, we had, a lot of people say, just do this in pill. It's going to be much easier, faster, easier, cheaper. And we said, no way. This system is not working for a lot of women. It's too complicated. It's hard to travel. It's hard to do on the go. It doesn't taste good. People avoid it. It just feels so overwhelming. And taking care of your health shouldn't be this hard. And we really wanted it to be simple and delicious. And we just stuck to our guns and kept plowing through an R&D process to make sure we got it in a format that we wanted, that felt tasty and delicious and enticing.
I can attest to the fact that it is tasty and delicious. Okay, so talk about the different phases and what women need at different types of their life and in relation to the products that you currently have out.
Sure. So in our primary product, in the reproductive stage, you definitely need iron, right? You're shedding blood every single month. And a lot of women are deficient in iron. And iron helps with your energy levels, helps with your brain functioning. It's really important. And iron you can absolutely get in food, right? You can get iron in meat products. You can get it in leafy greens. It's still hard to consume enough, even with healthy diets.
And if you do it in meat, it's basically got to be raw.
Yeah. It's really hard. And at building Biologica, I really wanted to help alleviate some of the health anxieties that women face on a day-to-day basis of stressing out about what you're eating all the time. And yes, of course, we all want to eat our fruits and vegetables and eat a balanced diet, eat a varied diet, and all of these things. Just it's so hard to do every day. And
if you're a mom, you just eat the leftovers of your kid,
Exactly. You're exhausted and you just have a piece of pizza and a glass of wine and you go to bed. And that is okay. And Biologica has your back on those days to be okay, you had a pizza and a glass of wine for dinner, your kids' leftover pizza, and take your Biologica and we got you for the day. And then tomorrow, maybe you'll have some leafy greens. So anyway, our primary product has, iron in it, which is different than the other life stages. The other component that we hear a lot in the reproductive stage when you're getting a monthly period is the physical symptoms of your period. So monthly cramps, PMS, breast tenderness. So we have a botanical called chasteberry in there, which has been prescribed by doctors for a very long time to help with some of the physical symptoms of getting your period. But of course, we don't have that botanical in the other formulations because you're not getting a regular period or not getting a period at all. So it's not relevant to you there in that stage. The best ingredient, the one that I love the most that we have in both our primary and our midlife product, I take the midlife product because I'm squarely in perimenopause, is we have saffron. And the clinical research on saffron is truly incredible. It shows that it is so effective to stabilize mood. And the dosage that you need to have saffron impact your mood is 28 milligrams per day, which is quite a lot. And I don't know if you've ever tried to buy saffron to cook with it, but it is very expensive. And we have a trademarked type of saffron called Afron saffron. And that is trademarked because it's the highest quality and it's able to cross the blood-brain barrier, which essentially means it's able to get into your brain and impact the serotonin and dopamine, those feel-good chemicals that we have in our brain. It keeps those chemicals around longer. And moodiness is so, like, women are experiencing it so much, through PMS when they're in the regular reproductive stage, and then also so intensely during perimenopause. And that was based on my personal experience. Like, I was used to being moody 2 to 3 days a month right before I got my period. But then as I was entering into my 40s, those days started to get more and more. And now I was really moody and irritable 5 days, 6 days, 7 days. And I'm like, this is like a quarter of my month that I feel not like myself. And saffron has truly changed the way that I approach like that week right before I get my period. Is I am so much more balanced. My fuse is longer. I'm more tolerant of my kids' shenanigans. I am just like a better version of myself. And so we have saffron in those 2 formulations as well.
The sachets are such that you can take any of them any day. It's not like you take some that are loaded more with saffron. Right. So it's just as long as you stay consistent.
Yeah. And some ingredients work immediately, right? Mm-hmm. So like the B complex vitamins or the magnesium that we have in all of our products, you'll feel that day. Our midlife product has L-theanine and GABA in it, which helps, a lot of complaints in midlife are brain fog. Like, I'm forgetting names. I like drop a word mid-sentence. That happens to me. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but an L-theanine and GABA give you a sense of calm focus, and that calm, serene, like focus, you can feel right away. Other ingredients like saffron will take, 2 to 4 weeks to build up in your system. So that consistency, is really important. And what I tell people is take it for a month and then notice how you feel before your period and tell me if you feel different. And that has been the most satisfying part of building this business is women come to me after having taken it for a month and they said, I noticed I was more like myself. I was less like this angry, irritable monster that like appears kind of out of nowhere for 4 or 5 days a month. And that kind of monstery person we have inside of us is just, it dies down because of taking Biologica. And so people are experiencing that after just a month.
And that is, you take it if you're like 35 on, or what's that?
So we have saffron in both our primary product, which is for 18 all the way through your 40s. And then we also have it in our midlife product, which is basically when you're ever starting to experience perimenopausal symptoms. So like early 40s all the way through to when you get your last period.
And are those the 2 primary products that you have?
Then we have the postmenopausal product. And the postmenopausal product does not have iron in it, for example, because you're no longer, bleeding on a monthly basis. It has an incredible ingredient called hobamine, which is a super antioxidant. It comes from a buckwheat seed, and it was formulated in this lab at Vanderbilt. And it is like our hero ingredient. It is the most expensive ingredient we have, and it helps with cellular regeneration, which you definitely need, when you're postmenopausal. And essentially, as your cells go through oxidative stress, which is aging, just happens naturally. It's something you're doing. It's just as you get older, your cells are going through this oxidative stress. It's important for cells to go through that because they build back stronger, right? It's the same way that like when you're lifting weights, you want to have these small muscle tears. You damage the muscles intentionally so they build back stronger. So the same thing, you want the cells to go through that stress, they build back stronger. But in that process, they release these kind of negative byproducts. And so hobamine attaches the negative byproducts and releases them so that it doesn't actually damage the cells. It's like, we used in the 90s, we were all eating blueberries, right, for antioxidants, but it's like that times 100 because it lets the cells go through the oxidative process, but then removes all the negative byproduct. And it is a killer ingredient that really helps with cellular regeneration. And so we have that in our postmenopausal product. So there's like hero ingredients in each of the 3 formulations. And then there's a baseline of the nutritional needs that women have that are unique to us. So calcium, vitamin D, and K2 are an example. Like, we need that for our bone health, and women have unique bone health needs. We all know that like osteopenia and osteoporosis are such critical problems for women as we get older, and we need to maintain healthy bone structure and lean muscle mass around our bones so that we don't have, hip fractures through a minor fall when we're in our 70s or 80s, right? That has so much impact on our longevity. So making sure you have the adequate amount of calcium. And you need vitamin D and K2 with the calcium to make sure the calcium actually gets into your bones and not into your arteries. That is so important for all women. And it's, again, calcium is hard to get in your diet. You can get it for sure, but it's hard to keep and maintain. All women are deficient in vitamin D, regardless of where you live. Like I'm in sunny California, I'm still deficient in vitamin D. And then vitamin K2 is like this wild ingredient that's found in bizarre foods like natto, which is like this fermented soybean that comes from Japan, or kimchi or brie cheese. It's like you're just not going to eat enough K2. You do need supplementation for that vitamin.
And so all of these contain your daily amount?
Yep.
It's all you need.
Yeah. So we've been telling, you can replace almost everything you're taking. There are only 3 things that we don't have in Biologica that you still need to make sure you take that we do not have in our formulation. One is protein. That's a commodity. Get it in your diet, or, choose from one of the million protein bars or powders that you like. Fiber. Fiber's not water soluble. You definitely need fiber. But again, you get that through your diet, and there's other supplementation you can take if you can't feel like you're not getting enough fiber.
Explain fiber is not water soluble so people understand.
One of the sacrifices we made in making a format that is dissolvable in water, because I was so passionate about not making it pills, we had to make some sacrifices. The ingredients had to be dissolvable in water, and we couldn't get fiber to do that. But there are so many other ways to get fiber that we felt comfortable excluding that from our formulation. It's pretty easy to get fiber in your diet. And then, there's an explosion of like these pre and postbiotic, prebiotics is fiber, right? All these fancy sodas and kombuchas, and eat like a good salad every day and you met your fiber content. And the last ingredient that we don't have, which is really important, is omega-3s. If you've taken an omega-3 pill, it tastes like fish. It gives you a fishy burp. And there was just no way with our form factor we could include it. So that is the only ones that we carve out as like, look, Biologica is truly everything you need, with the exception of those 3, 2 of which you can really get quite easily in your diet. And the third either gets your diet by eating a lot of fish or supplement separately.
Amazing. And so you have the 3 products. When did you launch?
We launched in December of last year. So we're pretty new.
Yeah. And where are you selling it now?
Just online right now, biologica.com. And, we hope to launch on Amazon by the end of this month. We wanted to launch online first so we could get feedback from customers to say, I like this, I don't like this. Of course, we thought we were doing everything perfectly at launch, but if, there are things that come up that people disagree with us on. And so we're trying to, listen to customers and see what they love and what they don't like, and, work to build a better business before we, expand into stores and other retail environments.
Look, I can attest to it. It's a great product. But I want to also get back. I mean, you're sitting here, you're doing all these facts that are like, come on the tip of your tongue and like this, come out. But you are a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
So what we love about the guests who come on this podcast is it's not necessarily a linear path to where you are and as an entrepreneur. So let's talk a little bit about that. You talked about how you were a lawyer, divorce lawyer. You did this to try to help the women that you're already helping and yourself and your friends, etc. But what gave you the audacity to think you could do this, Liz?
I love that question. It's so hard.
Yeah.
It is so hard and I feel emotional even talking about this, because it's like to have the confidence in yourself and to believe in yourself to say, I have an idea and I think it's really damn good. And I'm going to believe in myself and put the effort in that my husband is the co-founder of Allbirds. I was on the journey with him for the last decade. I saw what it's like to build a business from the ground up. It is hard work. There's no way around it. And to see that and to be a witness to that and say, I see it, I know what it's going to be like, and I think I can do it too, takes so much belief in yourself and confidence. And it did not happen overnight. I mean, I hemmed and hawed about it. I lost sleep. I talked to the people in my life that I'm closest to, like my family, my kids, my husband, who's my co-founder and really my confidant. And just, I think a lot of women, you can spin circles in your brain, right? Can I do this? Can I not do this? How am I going to fit this into my life? As an entrepreneur, I also am a mom of 3 kids and I want to be there for them during this time in their life. Their ages 9 to 12. It's a really sweet age. I didn't want to give that up. How do I build this all? And I there isn't like a, one perfect solution that I can say worked. It's just like one day waking up and being like, God damn it, I'm just going to do it. Like, I believe in myself and I'm just going to put one foot in front of the other and like hit the send button on the email and just start,
Do you have a co-founder?
My husband.
Oh, okay. Amazing. So, and then don't I have a doctor or somebody that's like on advisory board?
Yeah. So we have a few doctors on our medical advisory board. We have a naturopathic doctor who's incredible, Dr. Luther, and she is on staff at Biologica, and she has spent her entire career both helping patients and also working in the supplement space. So she helped us navigate, what she helped build these formulations for what women in each of these life stages truly need. Then we have an OBGYN who practices full-time in the Philadelphia area. And she also helped us say, here's where patients are coming into my office every day complaining about. And here are the things that I'm already doing. And here are the areas where I don't have a product to recommend to them. And that was particularly the thing that she mentioned is particularly around mood, that she felt like she didn't have a good enough product. A lot of women in midlife were coming in complaining and physicians were going right to SSRIs because that was their only option. And so she was really excited about having a alternative to that to help women in midlife with mood challenges. And then we also have a doctor on our medical advisory board who is a breast cancer surgeon at Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York City. And she, as a cancer surgeon, she sees women coming in with the beginning stages of breast cancer, or they're looking for options, surgical options to help. And she just believes in like making daily baseline improvements in your health to help mitigate long-term cancer risk. And like, there's no silver bullet, but there are small things we can do every day. And she's a big believer in supplementation to fill the nutritional gaps as one step in the process to help build a long, healthy life.
Which is great to know because, yes, you do go into OBGYNs and start talking about symptoms when you're like 40 and they're like, oh, have you gone to a physiotherapist or you know what I mean? And yes, they don't necessarily know any more than we do by looking it up. And supplementation has always been like, you're not really sure, should you be, should you not be? Is some things harmful or are they a waste of money? They can be really expensive. Which ones are good? Which ones are not? So, all right. So back to your journey as an entrepreneur and you have co-founder. I mean, and you want to spend time with your kids, but wasn't your other job super demanding? Wouldn't you be away from them more or?
It was demanding in different ways. So I didn't travel. When I worked, divorce law is very local, right? So I was at my local courthouse. All of my clients are in the county and there's no travel. And that makes a big difference, right? You spend every night and you have dinner with your kids. It's client services. So people are emailing you and texting you, especially, around complicated custody issues, right? At different times during the day that are not working hours and you feel like you have to respond sometimes and, worked on setting boundaries, but it's a different kind of on and entrepreneurship is never ending. I mean, we're working and look, my co-founder lives in the same house as me. So we have a rule. Our rule is that when it's outside of working hours and you want to talk about work, you have to ask the other person for permission to talk about it. So we'll say, on a weekend and we're at our kids' soccer game, we'll say, hey, can we talk about work for a minute? And the other person totally has the prerogative to say, no, like I want to focus on the game and let's table this for tonight or tomorrow morning or whatever. And for me, I often say no, like as I'm getting ready for bed, because that's when I need to like chill and wind down and read my like cheesy novel. And I don't want to like get my brain going again right as I'm about to like enter into sleep. But it's never ending. I mean, we're always working, but it's like, I mean, I love it so much because I believe in this product so deeply and I feel like it's helping women already. And I just want more women to know about it. And that's what gets me up and motivates me. That said, like, because I'm my own boss, like I can also pick my kids up from school and take them, today at 4:00, I've got such a shuttle, right? I've got 2 kids going to a soccer practice, another kid going to a lacrosse practice. And like, I love being there for them to do that. And I take that hour and a half off to shuttle them around. And then I get back online later.
It's like a great luxury in life to be able to do that, and be there for them, particularly these ages. I just interviewed another Susie Wolf from F1, actually, and we were talking about people on her team. She wanted women on her team and them thinking they couldn't do it, especially with the travel situation. And they're going, okay, we'll get you tell me what makes it work and we'll make it work for you, you know?
Yeah. It's a luxury though. I mean, you said it. It is a luxury. Not everybody has this luxury. I do not
Yeah.
take it for granted.
Yeah.
It is a juggling act. It doesn't work out perfectly every time by any means.
But I think it's fine. It's fine that it's a luxury, but I don't mean it as a luxury of like, oh, it's for rich people. It's for women who are ambitious, who want to start their own companies. That could be a hair salon, that could be, you know, a bodega, that could be, you know, a tutoring company, that could be a massive tech company, right? But that luxury should become more of a day-to-day, right? As women, you know, come into this business world and dominate more and show how leadership could really be and how work-life balance could really happen. I think it's really important to discuss the differences and understand that, like, we all just saw COVID happen. We know it's possible. I don't know why everybody's going like back to work. Like, they all did really fine. All of these tech companies flourished and now they're making everybody move, right? And I can't help but think it's a way to get rid of a bunch of people who are the sole breadwinners or in charge of the families and children. You know what I mean?
The other piece of it that's really interesting that I wasn't expecting is my kids see us work.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
I read somewhere, you know, a long time ago, like one of the downsides of like our life being on our phone is that our kids don't know when we're working versus like scrolling on Instagram versus reading the newspaper. Like we remember growing up, like with our parents reading a physical newspaper. And now when I read the paper, it's on my phone and they don't know that like I'm not just like screwing around on Instagram, you know? And so I'll say to them, like, I'm working right now. And they'll say, what are you know, I'm answering an email about blah, blah, blah. Or I'll tell them when they get home today, oh, I did a podcast with this really wonderful woman who also has twins.
Ooh, what's her
and
name?
they'll say, yeah, they'll say like, what did you talk about? And it's, they're a part of the fabric of our business, which makes it really special because they see how much work it takes. That work ethic kind of trickles down by example, but it also makes them have an appreciation for what we do every day. And they don't think we're just like, we joke when they were little, they just thought we like sent emails all day. You know, kids think that's all you do. You send emails, which frankly, a lot of jobs, like it does feel like that. But if we can like narrate a little bit more about what's going on, they can see us interacting.
And you're helping women on top of it. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So in this long storied career that you had then and the different decisions that you've made, you know, is there a particular time when you ask for something, it could be of yourself even, or somebody else that really like changed the trajectory of your career or life in general?
It's a great question. And the answer is yes. And it's my husband as my co-founder. We were dreaming up this idea that started in my pantry and we went on a long hike one summer together. That's like our time to really connect and get away from everybody and no phones. And our kids do not want to come with us. So we have no phones, no kids. We have 2 senior dogs who are too old to go on the hike. So it's truly just the 2 of us. And I asked him, I said, if we do this together, I really need your support, both from a confidence perspective. Like I needed a cheerleader and I needed someone to say like, you can do this. You're smart enough. You're capable enough. You can work hard enough. You can do this. So I needed him from like an emotional support. But then I needed him from like a logistical support. Like I'm going to need help with the kids and the organizing and all of the like emotional labor, you know, as a single mom, like the work that you do, like the forms you fill out, your kids need new cleats for the season, the vacation you have to plan, the camps you have to sign up for. Those things are so exhausting and take up so much time. And so I said, I need help there also. And I didn't do a great job of asking for help there in the first decade of being a mom. I kind of did it all because he was working so much. And so I asked him, it was a big ask, right? It's like, I need you to support me emotionally as an entrepreneur. And also I need you to support me logistically as a working mother. And it's a lot to ask of one person. And he didn't fill all of it himself, right? Like I was able to use other resources to be able to help with both of those buckets, both the emotional piece, the confidence building, and also the logistical piece. But even just being able to like see that that was where I needed help and to ask for it was very illuminating for me.
Yeah. Well, good thing you said yes, right?
Exactly.
Might have had to use your old services.
You know, and like if you don't carve out, if you don't like understand what's driving that anxiety,
Yeah.
it just, you get into this like vicious cycle where you're just like, I'm anxious and I feel like I can't do it and I don't really know why. And so to be able to like thought, and for every person it's different. Some people it's therapy, some people it's journaling, some people it's like a long talk with a best friend that's known you forever. But just like figuring out like exactly where you're stuck.
Yeah. And what you need, and then how to ask for it and who to ask, right? Because oftentimes we're asking all the wrong people, right?
Yeah. And sometimes it's trial and error. Sometimes you have to ask the person, they say yes, and turns out they're actually not that great at helping you. And you have to like transition to like asking somebody else or acknowledging that like that's not their skill set. You know, not the right ask. It felt the most comfortable, but it maybe wasn't the right ask. So it's a learning process.
So what is the future of Biologica? You have 3 products now, right? Same thing, it's all a sachet, but for different life stages, right? And so what's the future?
So look, there's a lot of women in this country who need support. So we have a huge task ahead of us to get the word out, to have them sample and try the product. And so before we like expand into all these other different categories or ideas, like I so believe in our simple formulations, well, complicated formulations in our simple format, that I just want people to know about it. And that takes, in this fragmented media world, takes so much effort and so much work to like get out and speak and, you know, have influencers talk about your product and have media report on it. And so that is our near-term future, is just more brand awareness, because like, as you said, once people try it, they love it. So I just need people to try it. And that's our big hurdle for the next while. After that, you know, there are other products in the pipeline that make sense, that are a good fit. There are other hormonal life stages we haven't addressed. There's a unique need that women have around pregnancy that is not fully addressed by our 3 products so far. So that's an area for growth as well. But for now, it's like so much around building brand awareness.
I know you're going to try to get that omega-3 not to taste like fish too.
I know. Well, literally just today I was talking about this. How can we get this in a powder format? It's going to be really hard. The scientists are telling us we can't do it, but you know, you got to just like
make a new kind of fish that tastes sweet or something.
Exactly.
I
A
love
cranberry lemonade fish.
There you go. Maybe my kids will start eating it more. So there's always one question that we ask every guest that we have on here. And that is, what is the worst advice you've ever received?
Slow and steady wins the race.
Ooh, interesting.
I think that I'm risk averse. And I believe in slow and steady wins the race. And the truth is, it's not the worst advice, but slow and steady wins some races, but not all. And if I lived by that mantra, I wouldn't be here doing this. There is this, you know, my husband and co-founder, he's the opposite. He's definitely not like the wild hair that is like totally cavalier, but there's a little bit of like, you know, he's a little bit of a bull in a china shop sometimes. And I actually see it in one of my sons. He's like that too. And there's that confidence and energy and like willingness to like, just try it, like do it. Don't have all of your ducks in a row before you do it. And as a lawyer, like, I mean, most lawyers are risk adverse, right? It's like we're drawn to like the formulations around like just the way that you word a contract, how like when you write a good contract, you feel like you've prepared for every kind of scenario and it feels like safe. A good contract is like this safe space where you're like, I've got it. And in entrepreneurship, it doesn't work like that. You've got to just go. And sometimes you have to be fast and a little reckless with some things, right? Of course, like the science and the safety and the efficacy of our product was not. That's why it took 2 years of R&D. But like in the marketing and the communication and the brand identity, like we got to try things and like it doesn't have to be perfect. And so I'm working on that skill. It's definitely not, doesn't come naturally to me, but messaging, like we're crafting our messaging and changing it based on feedback from people. And you just got to try stuff. And the world moves at such a fast pace now with the internet and social media, like, you know, getting ad campaigns out there and then you can truly change them the next day. And so you just got to iterate and go fast and not feel like everything has to be perfect in all of your, you know, cross your T's and dot your I's. You just got to do it. And I think for people like me, I don't know about you as a former lawyer too, but like this conservatism and this like the pragmatic quality about that makes us great lawyers can sometimes hold us back in entrepreneurship.
No, I get it. I get it. Amazing. Well, thank you so much. I know I'm so happy to be part of getting the word out there about Biologica and having women try it. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today, but also say one more time where people can find it.
Sure. Biologica.com.
And what about your social media and stuff? Same?
Yeah, same thing.
Wow.
Same
Lucky
thing,
you.
yeah. I know.
I love it. Well, thank you everyone for listening to this episode of Taking Care of Lady Business. Until next time, I'm Jennifer Justice.
Thanks to MedJet for supporting the Taking Care of Lady Business podcast. When you travel for work or internationally, the real question isn't if something could happen, it's whether you've planned for it. That's why I'm a member of MedJet and have been for years. If your security is threatened or you're hospitalized while traveling, MedJet can get you home and to the hospital you choose, not just the closest one. It's not travel insurance. It's about not leaving critical decisions to chance. If you travel regularly, it's worth having in place. You can learn more at medjet.com. Thanks for tuning in to Taking Care of Lady Business. If this was useful, subscribe and share with a friend. Make sure to check out the show notes for more on my guest and me, Jennifer Justice. Taking Care of Lady Business is a production of Lady Business LLC. See you next time.